Our reading today is called Imagine by UU minister Lynn Unger. Some of you might remember that name. She wrote The Pandemic that was so popular at the beginning of all of this. Imagine with me for a moment. Don't worry, I'm not saying it's real. Imagine, if you can, that there has been not a calamity, but a great awakening. Pretend just for a moment that we all so loved our threatened Earth that we stopped going on cruises, limited international flights, worked on cherishing the places where we already are. In this pretty fantasy, everyone who possibly can stops commuting, spends the extra time with their kids or pets or garden. We have the revelation that everyone needs health care, sick leave, steady work. It occurs to us that healthcare workers are heroes, also teachers, not to mention the artists of all kinds who teach us resilience and joy. Imagine, if you will, that we turned to our neighbors in mutual aid, trading eggs for milk, checking on those who are elderly or alone. Imagine that each of us felt suddenly called to wonder, in this moment, what does the world need from me? What are my gifts? Yes, I know, it's just a fantasy. The world could never change so radically overnight. But imagine. So this week we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. It was first celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, as a day to honor the Earth and to participate in environmental teach-ins. 1970. That was the day where we actually created a specific day to start publicizing the critical state of our environment. And the environmental movement has grown in this country. And yet the challenges to our environment continue to get worse. I'm going to get right to the headline of this sermon. After this pandemic, we have no right to say that we can't fix our environment. No right. They say it will be too expensive and will affect our economy. Yep. So? They say it will be too hard to change the technology and we can't change our reality that quickly. Really? Tell me about that. They say people won't be able to sacrifice for the greater good. What's that you say? No, really, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that we can't change the environment or that it is too hard. Honestly, after being through this for just a month, I am convinced we can do hard things, and we need to. I mean, really, there's a lot of similarities here. Both the virus and climate change have the potential to kill millions if they go unchecked. Both the virus and climate change know no boundaries, no definitions of countries. Both the virus and climate change will affect the most vulnerable most seriously, making those who are already marginalized even more so. And both of them are going to require serious sacrifice, government involvement, policies, and collective involvement. I, like many of you, have been seeing the dramatic changes that have been happening in our environment since the world has been quarantined, and I look to them for hope. I hear about the clear skies in China and how children are seeing stars for the first time, and how the birds are louder, and that we don't now hear as many planes over here in Phoenix, and that our oceans are cleaner, and that there are porpoises swimming in the canals of Venice. No, wait, that wasn't true. That was just Photoshop, but it was a cool idea for a while. But even with just a few weeks break, our environment is taking a deep breath and showing us how it can heal itself. In China, there is real data to support the breaths that the Earth got to take. The nitrogen dioxide levels that come from the burning of fossil fuels there decreased 40% over their month of quarantine. And to be clear, the air pollution there is a deadly disease. It causes an estimated 1.1 million deaths per year, and it costs the Chinese economy $38 billion each year. They didn't think that they could stop that, but they did slow it down over several months. In Los Angeles, for the entire month of March, the air quality index was green or acceptable for the entire month. The last time that there's data of that happening for such a long time was in 1980. But here's the thing. We want desperately to see this as a sign of hope, that we've got this silver lining. And those of you who have been paying attention know how I feel about silver linings out of this. And it can be, but it can only be if we sustain it. We can't pretend that, oh, we've got this pandemic and we're going to get Earth environmental change on the side. We can't believe that this is done and we can give that a check mark. All we can do is believe it is possible. The Earth has gotten a breath, but it needs more than one breath. The nitrogen dioxide levels in China are already heading back to their pre-corona levels. And I have no doubt that the smog in LA will return as well. The better environment is not a silver lining of corona. Fossil fuels need to be reduced by over 10% for at least a year to make a difference. And we need to return land back to nature to heal the wounds that we humans have inflicted. We need to consume less. And actually, there are a lot of signs that between healthcare disposal and food and packaging goods and shipping, there are signs that consumption is the same or higher during this corona time. We are making collective choices right now because lives are on the line within the next few weeks and months, potentially many months. But lives have already been on the line due to the environmental changes. From fires ravaging communities to massive drought to more intense hurricanes to stronger storms, lives are on the line more and more every single day due to climate change. We need to make the same sacrifices, have our government do the same hard emergency work, and have substantial change in order to turn this ship around. The environment, just like the coronavirus, is going to depend on humans putting our collective well-being over our individual well-being. John Robbins says, humans are part of the web of life. What we do to the planet, what we do to other species, and what we do to other people, we end up doing to ourselves. And this all fits with our seventh principle, which is the interconnected web of which we are all part. We are all connected. My actions impact yours, and yours impact me, and we all impact the Earth. This was a principle that was created for the environmental movement as a result of the environmental movement. And I think many of us have been congratulating ourselves as a group of humanity, thinking that we've done that collective work well. This week, we're seeing that some people don't like that trade-off of collective work. With protesters gathering in groups in downtown Phoenix, they're doing it tomorrow, with their Don't Tread on Me flags and their demand to have their independence restored, they are unequivocally stating that their own individual rights are more important than the collective good. Our president, who has done irreparable harm, is exacerbating it by tweeting "Liberate Michigan" and "Liberate Minnesota" in support of those who are choosing this individual focus and downright greed. let me be clear on where I stand on this. I want to put the collective good over the individual desire. I think we always need to work together to do hard things. I think that those who are most marginalized are always more negatively impacted by environmental change and viruses. I believe that we need to fight for those who are more impacted, even if that means giving something up for ourselves. And I believe that communities working together can do amazing things, whether neighborhoods, cities, states, country, or the world. And I want to be very clear that those people protesting, there's dozens of them, but there are millions of us who are staying home and working for the collective good. Millions. And we can do hard things. I don't want to ever again hear that we can't do this. We have the resources, and we can change legislature and regulations, and we can galvanize people, and the earth can heal. We have seen its resiliency. We can turn this around. The environment is just one more thing that I think can't go back to normal. I have hope that we can look at these bigger issues with more conviction going forward. And we must make changes. We must.